Lori. Okay. Hello. How's everyone doing? I am Maria Castley. I'm the Chief Archivist and Tours Manager at City Museum. I'm in one of our relaxed zones out on Monstro, and I thought today we could take a little look around Monstro and see where a couple of things came from. Looking very close to my face. So we're going to take a little tour on Monstro. I'll tell you where a few things came from. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. I will answer whatever I can. If I miss it, I'll try and answer it after we're done here. But yeah, so let's get my mask on and we'll get started. Bear with me here for a moment. Alright. So hopefully I'll be able to keep the connection better than last week when we went into the aquarium. We'll see what happens. Alright. Hey Bridgette. Alright, so yeah, if you're just joining us, we're going to take a little short tour of MonstroCity Museum. Alright, so this tree is a dead tree that we took and brought here. Bob and the crew would get a lot of, we are open, yeah. Bob and the crew would get a lot of dead trees and wood and use it in a lot of the tree house installations, a lot on the first floor in the back corner. This one was a 150-year-old tree. They brought it in and it has lined it with railroad spikes. These guys here, copper scales, and we also have musical instruments as well. And then you can tell they added on some sculptures and some creatures at the bottom here too. Turtle fence, this is a good example of a process that's used a lot around City Museum, recycling and upcycling things. These are parts that were cut out of, it was like the leftovers from a die cutting process, so these are all metal. And to us anyway, they look like the shapes of a turtle, so the welders and the crew would weld all the pieces together and then they created a fence out of them, and you'll see this pattern repeat itself a lot throughout the museum. Yeah, these are all railroad spikes. So the ball pit, if you were here really early in the museum, this was originally Well, when it first opened, none of this was out here. This all got built probably in the early 2000s, I would imagine. Oh, thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. So if you were here really early, so this whole part here where all the balls are, this was filled with, in the military, they would use like this big rubber like bladder to hold water and store water. So they had one of those, and they filled it with water so you could jump on it. And then they had this massive rubber band swing made out of just like hundreds of feet of surgical tubing, and people would jump up and down on that. That didn't last super long. The military bladder from welding and building, which we're always building here, that ended up popping a couple times from like sparks flying on it, so they ended up just calling it quits on that and turning it into it. So yeah, that was that one. And let me see, and try and go out this way. This is the cabin. The cabin was one of the first things installed outside, actually. All right. Here we go. Okay. And we're back. Here. So this is what we call Stonehenge. These are giant monoliths that came from the Stone Center when it went out of business. So each of these weighs between 8,000 and 10,000 pounds, which is insane to me. So they were all going out of, so yeah, the Stone Center was going out of business, and then these didn't sell, so they ended up getting them at like the equivalent of a stone yard sale. So all these guys were out here really early on. This little guy up here, this is a relatively more recent addition. This guy's from Navy Pier, this little frog lamp in Chicago. Got the twin over here. Now this guy, one of my favorites. So this is technically a gargoyle, and you know it's a gargoyle because apparently gargoyles specifically have water that comes out of their mouth. So this is actually a drain spout. You can kind of see it here. That's a crew built and sculpted. The stone bench, I don't know if that came from the same sale. I'll have to find out about that. Yeah, I'll find out for you, Bridgette. Oh, and there's another. So it's sort of amazing and also kind of embarrassing about working here is you can see something, you can walk by something a million times and always find something new. So I guess we've got another frog lamp there. Let's see. Oh, okay. So we'll go out to. These are all here. These are all bricks. If you're familiar with St. Louis, and we've talked about this a couple times before, St. Louis has really an abundance of bricks, and we were a really big manufacturer of bricks for a long time. This is one of Paul's sculptures from the ashes. It's a big block that he's been working on for years now. Oh, and then this is the entrance sign. It's a neon sign. You can kind of see that the neon's glowing right now. This is from Hampton Carwash, which opened as Crusader Car Wash in 1965. One of the notable things about it is that when the Pope visited St. Louis in 1999, the Pope, not the Pope mobile, but the rest of the cars all went through that car wash. And then it was demolished in 2012. Yeah. So these guys, speaking of stone benches, which I don't think this is the one you were talking about, but this one is, we moved these guys here. These are sculpted by Castley & Castley. That was one of Bob Castley's designs. We've got a number of these in the parking lot. There are also, I was doing some research, and there also have some in Pontiac Park in Soulard. But, hello! I'm doing a tour! Oops, we gotta... see. We'll sneak by this guy here. So these guys here, and I mean, if you visited the museum, you might see parts, looks like parts of old buildings. We do that a lot. We've got a lot of parts from buildings that were being torn down. We try to only take from buildings that are going to be torn down otherwise. Like if they're going to stay, we don't, salvage anything from there. This one, they are limestone columns that came from the William Stick School, which was torn down in '97, which was the year that the museum was opened. And then finally, see some more of those lion benches. Finally today, this is the serpent fence. So the serpent fence, it's 500 feet long. It was the first thing that Castley's built when they bought the building. They created this huge fence that goes around their property. It was before they did anything inside. We have the blueprints. We're actually, I believe, hopefully it's not a secret, but we're planning on making a puzzle out of the blueprint for the serpent, which I am super excited about. So this guy, they would have spent that much money on a fence, but they really wanted to know, St. Louis at the time didn't have them. Trying to stay connected, sorry. St. Louis didn't have a whole lot going around downtown, and there were a lot of abandoned buildings, so they wanted to kind of establish this as their own and as a place that, magical things were going to happen. So this was the fence that they used. You can also find this fence without the spikes at a New City school. So, yeah. Let's see. So we're outside of the museum. Alright. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. We had a good time talking about all the history for the museum, so we're going to do some more. I just got a lot of newspapers about the museum yesterday, so that might be next week's show. We'll look at some of the historical articles and stuff about that. So yeah, if there's ever anything you want to know about, like I said, if I don't know right away, I will try and find out for you guys. And yeah, we also have a lot of, I've been organizing these on Facebook and then also on YouTube. So we've got a YouTube channel too that you can find these as well. And you can get to that if you look up City Museum STL. And if you go through our website, thecitymuseum.org, you can click on that. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you next week. All right, thanks guys.